One Indonesian crew member is dead after fire broke out on board the World Legacy cruise ship on Friday morning. 4 passengers were also sent to hospital for assessment. Investigations into the cause of the fire are ongoing. Nadirah Zaidi with this report.
Passengers woke to water pooling across decks on board the World Legacy cruise. A fire had broken out at around 4 a.m. on Friday, forcing all to quickly gather and put on their safety gear.
Everyone have life jacket? Yes.
Based on preliminary investigations, the incident happened at the lounge area on deck 9 of the cruise ship.
我也是半夜被吵醒，因为我听到那个 siren 的声音，但是因为我在睡觉，我以为是 announcement， 他就敲门很大力，然后我就醒了咯，我醒了，然后我还不知道是什么事情，我以为是去演习还是什么，
就很大的烟了
7楼看得到烟好的，
然后心里在害怕了，然后他们又叫我们等了大概有45分钟这样子，又叫我们自己慢慢的走下去3楼集合了。那时我就看到地上又湿湿。
The crew put the fire under control at first, before the Singapore Civil Defence Force marine firefighters fully extinguished it 6 hours later.
The World Legacy vessel that you're seeing behind me had to anchor here at the Raffles Reserved anchorage. This is basically an emergency bay for ships that need emergency attention. This is due to the fire that took place at 4 in the morning and unfortunately took the life of 1 crew member. From what we understand, MPA says that it's an Indonesian crew member and there are about 271 passengers on board, of which 139 are Singaporeans, and all of them have been sent or ferried to Harbourfront.
The Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore, or MPA, created a safety zone around the cruise ship to advise passing vessels to keep clear. When CNA was there at the anchorage between Pulau Senang and Pulau Semakau, boats from SCDF, MPA and the police force were spotted monitoring the area. The ship's core crew were also seen on board the vessel to conduct safety checks, assist with investigations and manage the vessel while at anchor. The deceased crew member was transferred ashore, with the Indonesian embassy in Singapore informed.
And CNA's Noah Kong has this report from the Singapore Cruise Centre where the passengers arrived.
Among the 271 passengers who disembarked, some were external contractors hired by World Cruises to work on board. SCDF paramedics and emergency technicians were on site to provide medical support. The first batch arrived at around 11 a.m, then a second batch at around 1 p.m. Some of those I spoke to were visibly tired, telling me they just wanted to head home and rest. One man who returned in the first batch, who only wants to be known as Mr. Tan, says the evacuation was messy and disorganized, with many passengers rushing to get their life jackets. Besides vessels from MPA, 3 private ferry companies were also roped in to help evacuate passengers. I spoke to some of these operators. One of them, Batam Fast Ferry, says they got the call at about 6:30 a.m. for one vessel to help with rescue efforts. Thereafter, MPA took over the rescue coordination. In fact, they carried the first group of 190 passengers back to shore. Another from Majestic Fast Ferry later carried the second batch of about 80 people. The third operator, Sindo Ferry, was deployed alongside the cruise ship to stand by its assistance, but in the end it was not required to ferry passengers. MPA says other operations, such as the regular trips to Batam and Bintan, weren't affected by this incident. What's next depends on vessel surveyors engaged by World Cruises. They will assess the damage and the repairs to be carried out before the ship can return to service. There's no timeline as to when this will happen, so for now the ship remains anchored at Raffles Reserved Anchorage.